Welcome to the history of the longest item name in Minecraft. Every block and item in Minecraft has its own unique name, obviously. But which one is the longest? Today, I'm going to be taking you through every update chronologically that adds a new item that breaks the record for the longest name. Now, I'll quickly state ahead of time that when we're counting the length of an item's name, I'm including spaces because they are a character, and what we care about is the total character length of a name. And I'm only going to be counting names that items had when they were introduced to the game. For example, Cobblestone Stairs have a length of 18 characters, but back when they were added in beta, they were just called Stone Stairs, which only has 12 characters. Our journey begins all the way back in 2010, specifically December 20th, when version Beta 1.0 released. This is the version that added tooltips, meaning it's the first time that anyone playing the game had the ability to even count how long the name of an item was. We begin our list with the Diamond Chestplate, an item with a name length of 18 characters long. Now, technically, the Diamond Chestplate was added to Minecraft on an in-dev version released back on 2010, February 12th, but once again, Beta 1.0 was the first time you could read what the name was. Now, the next few updates don't add any items that break the record, but Beta 1.4 adds the Locked Chest, which doesn't break the record. It only has 12 characters in the name. However, just keep the Locked Chest in the back of your head because we're going to come back to that later. In order to beat the record, we're going to have to go all the way to the full release of the game, version 1.0.0, which released on November 18th, 2011. Now, this version added potions, specifically the Splash Potion of Fire Resistance at 32 characters long. This item maintained the record for over 4 years until 1.9, which released on 2016, February 29. That update brought us an overhaul to the end and the dragon fight, and also added the Dragon's Breath, which could be collected to create lingering potions. And so the Splash Potion of Fire Resistance is technically beaten by itself with the Lingering Potion of Fire Resistance with a character length of 35. However, I do want to have a little asterisk here, a little footnote about the Anvil, which was added in 1.4.2, which added the ability to rename items, and the max length was 30. So technically, you could encounter an item with a length of 30 from that update onwards, but 1.9 adds an item that is the true next winner. The Lingering Potion of Fire Resistance then holds the record for almost 2.5 years before update 1.13, which added the Lingering Potion of the Turtle Master. A potion that I don't even know if I knew that existed until looking this up. I've never made that in the game. I don't know anyone who has. I don't even know what it does. Hold on. Another tangent here. Potion of the Turtle Master. Slowness and resistance. Okay, well, now you know that. The Lingering Potion of the Turtle Master has a length of 37, which is 2 more than the previous. Now, I said at the beginning I was only going to talk about the major updates, and I wasn't going to mention any snapshots because that gets way too technical and there's hundreds of them. However, I do want to break my rule a little bit because I want to talk about the waxed, lightly weathered cut copper stairs, which were added on snapshot 20W45A, which was November 4th, 2020. A block that has a character length of 41, which would have beaten the record had they not, just a few weeks later, stripped the title away in snapshot 21W05A. They changed the name to the Waxed Exposed Cut Copper Stairs, bringing it back down to 31, which gave the Lingering Potion of the Turtle Master its rightful title back with 37. The next longest item name comes nearly 5 years later. In update 1.20, the Wayfinder Armor Trim Smithing Template was added. Now, in-game, the name is only displayed as Smithing Template, with Wayfinder Armor Trim being a subtitle, which is the same for all Armor Trim smithing templates. However, if we look at the item ID, the full item name is seen as Wayfinder Armor Trim Smithing Template. And this brings the record up to 38 characters long. And folks, this is where it ends. The Wayfinder Armor Trim Smithing Template has since maintained the record for the longest item name since June 7th, 2023. However, in my research, I encountered something kind of interesting. Do you remember the locked chest that was added all the way back in 2011, beta 1.4? Since it was an April Fool's joke, it was supposed to be removed from the game's code after only a day or so, but it was accidentally left deep in the game's code, untouched for years. Now, once again, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about snapshots, but I'm going to do it one more time because in snapshot 13W37A, the locked chest item ID was changed to chest_locked_April Fools_Legacy_old_should_not_even_have_this. An item name with a length of 69, because of course it is. Which technically makes this the longest item name in the history of the game. And sure enough, if you use the setBlock command in this snapshot and type in that exact long phrase, you can get what is technically the locked chest. Although it's missing all of its textures and function, it is the locked chest. The reason why it looks like this is a whole other history that I'm not going to worry about. Someone else can do that. But just a few weeks later, in snapshot 13W41A, the item ID was overwritten for what would become stained glass for the upcoming 1.7 update. And that, folks, is the history of the longest item name in Minecraft. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.